Alright, Shalom. This is Ariel Ben Yashral at the Lion's Den. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash, Ma'amath. A double honor to the elders and apostles here at Millstone who rule well and teach well. A double honor to my elders as well. Ahawan Ben Yashral down here in the Lion's Den camp, Jacksonville, Florida. And Shalom and Thawada to the Akim, Akwathim, and children that's pushing the truth and believe it with sincerity. I'm about to do a lesson on I'm just going to go ahead and let the video ride out.
Nobody expected it. And Portland, Oregon is random, but we still gonna bring this word out for you Israelites so you can know who you are. But we still gonna bring this word out for you Israelites so you can know who you are. Ought to obey God. Remember, the Bible just said don't have your head covered in the midst of this Bible. We appreciate you staying here, but we really hoping you snatch the head off for a minute, bro. It's not gonna kill you. Alright? So go ahead. Obey God rather than me. He's only dealing with the nation of Israel. You uncovering your head right now will be you embracing the chance to repent, to get saved from the hands of our enemies. You like living like this? Being on the bottom of society, you got your chance to start right now by uncovering your head. Let's go to the Sabbath. Give me Exodus 35. Meaning you're doing the opposite of what the commandment is, the law or the statute. Come on. For sin is the transgression of the law. Sin is what? The transgression of the law. Sin simply is breaking God's laws. And you're right, that's a very bad thing. That's the worst thing. One of the worst things. That's the worst thing you can do. Right. It's the sin. You see what I'm saying? So repentance is the key. Matter of fact, is it? Just repent. I know it's cold out, y'all. I'm in the same coat. We in the same coat. Bring it out. You got a chance to snatch your hat. That's it. Just, I know you got a cold, but let me ask you something. Is keeping that hat on right now gonna keep that cold on now? Yeah, I got to be ready to go. You gotta be ready to go, right? But you gotta hear this word too, because I'm gonna tell you something. You know who gave you that cold? The seed for your wrong. That's called judgment. Right? I don't know what you was doing before today. I only know you keeping the law of the beard right now. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got no fringes on, dude. Fringes. You got no fringes? You know what that is? Numbers 15:38. Now that can help you stay away from the mist of sin. You rocking your fringes like you're supposed to do. And do them, Damien. We have commandments that we must do. Come on. After our own minds. You know what our own mind tell us right now? Man, I can't take this hat off, but I got a cold. I've been sneezing, my nose running out my left nostril. I can't take. That's what our mind tell us. After our own minds. You know what our own mind tell us right now? Man, I can't take this hat off, but I got a cold. I've been sneezing, my nose running out my left nostril. I can't take. That's what our mind tell us.
So this clip was taken from one of the Akim in the GMS Baltimore camp. His pages are the Real Apologist. But that video right there was of an IUIC member, and that was like really sad, infuriating, but very sad, because there's also an importance of faith as well. There's also an importance in faith. And I'm just going ahead and start reading. This is Matthew chapter 14. I'm starting at verse 1. It says, at that time, the Tetrarch heard of the fame. The Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahushua, and said unto his servants, this is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. For Herod had laid hold on John, and bound him, and put him in a prison for Herodias' sake, for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and pleased Herod, whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, Give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it be given to her. I'm gonna take a sip of this whole Slakin. Verse 9. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the other's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. And the disciples came and took up the body and buried it and went and told Yahushua. When Yahushua heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart. It's like into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. All right. Verse 14, Yahushua went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. He was moved with compassion. It's a very beautiful thing. Verse 15, and when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a desert place. I think it's desert. I think it's desert. And the time is now past. Send the multitude away that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals." But Yahushua said unto them, "They need not depart. Give ye them to eat." And they say unto him, "We have here 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He said, "Bring them hither." And he commanded the multitude to sit down in the grass, and took the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, looking up unto heaven. He blessed and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they all did eat, and were filled, and they took up the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. They had eaten were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. And straightway Yahushua constrained his disciples into a ship to go before him unto the other side. All right. So and going past that, that was a very, very beautiful miracle that Yahushua performed. Not I won't say performed, but that was a very, very beautiful miracle that Yahushua blessed everyone with. And one thing that they said in Superman is they didn't trust him because they didn't know whether or not he was for them. And imagine another being like that coming upon the face of this earth, and they're actually for us, for Israel, for the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. Like, that's who is coming back for us. And all we have to do is follow the laws to the best of our ability. Of course, that comes with having faith. So the way that he kept telling this guy to take off his hat, give him a reason to take it off. Show him the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And he brought out so many scriptures just to back up the point of to take off that it was so carnal. He was focused on such a small carnal thing, straining at a gnat. And then asked the dude for fringes. Bro, you know this man ain't got no fringes. Come on. Like, you can't ask a 5th grader to do you can't ask a child to do an adult thing. All right. Like, man, like, it's just horrible to see. But I'm gonna keep going. Verse 23. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking, come take a sip, Slakia. Verse 26. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "Is it a spirit?" And they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water." And this is where faith. I'm keep reading verse 29. And he said, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. As long as we walk towards Yahushua, bro, we can walk on water. That's the power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. And that's what IUIC is not understanding. And that's what they're blocked off from. They get their power from the left hand side. They get their power from vanity, from building themselves up and trying to tear others down. All right. Cause that's really what it's all about. I forget what lesson the elder of this camp did. I forget what lesson he said it, but he said, "Do you have enough faith to walk on water to Yahweh?" And that's how we have to be. If Yahweh came down right now, like, you have to have faith to believe in him that he will save you, and you have to know who you are to know that he's on your side. And it's just a beautiful thing, faith is. So you can't neglect faith. You can't neglect the laws, and you can't neglect faith. They go hand in hand. But you have to start believing first. And it doesn't matter about a hat. Yes, we don't teach what our heads covered. You could wear like a mitria around it, or tie up a scarf and have your head uncovered. It's not that big of a deal. All right, but it's damn near offensive, because it's just, why you kicking at a newborn babe? Like, why you bucking up against him like that? Like, snatch that hat off your head. Like, like, come on, man. It's unnecessary. I'm gonna keep on going. All right, verse 28. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. And when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth, Salakia, hold on. Verse 33, then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, of a truth, thou art the Son of God, Khan, the Son of Yahweh. And when they were gone over, Salakia, let me take a sip. Verse 34, and when they were gone over, they came into the land of Jezaret. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out to all the country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. As many as touched were made perfectly whole. As many as touched were made perfectly whole. That's what we have to strive to, that type of perfection, to that type of faith. All right, you can't neglect faith. Faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, that he's really going to save us. All right, because, yeah, we know the power that we have now. Right now, we have the power to heal, and that's what we have to focus on. We don't have, we have the power of destruction, but at the same time, that's not the spiritual power that was given to us right now. Right now, we're in the time of healing our people. All right, and also we're at the same time as we're being healed, we're also forming into an army, but not a physical army like they like to portray, like what you see here. Not a physical army, okay, but a spiritual army. All right. So I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom.